Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Yatra Sister Podcast. I'm Sharita.
And I'm Allison.
And today we're actually going to do a recap of our last 10 podcasts.
Yes, we're calling it After a Few Drinks.
So many things happen after a few drinks. But we wanted to take a moment to actually review some conversations and some messages that we've received from some of our amazing listeners, and really talk a little bit more deeply about their comments or what they learned, what they didn't like, what they did like about some of the podcasts. And in doing that, we have a special guest with us. His name is Ben. And Ben actually reached out and had some very interesting perspectives, and we wanted to bring him on as a guest.
Oh, yeah. I think it's important to bring somebody completely different than me and Sharita because we're so much alike. When you look at us, you can tell.
Oh, we're twins. Twins.
But we're not a lot alike, but on some regards, we are a lot alike. Mm-hmm. So we can get in, come up with a great idea, flow, write things down, and then accidentally miss an entire other segment of the population.
Absolutely.
Out of ignorance, because we just can't think that way.
Yeah.
So we selected Ben, our dear, lovely, wonderful Ben, because he has a whole other way, and if we couldn't connect with you in the past 9-10 podcasts,
yeah,
I think Ben probably can.
Absolutely.
And after that, if you can't connect to Sharita, if you can't connect to me, and you can't connect to Ben, then we're going to have to bring in my husband.
Oh, we'll love to do that.
Yeah, I think you'll be awesome, but boy, you know, then you're really going to get it hard and stiff and solid.
All right. Okay. You know what? Those are not bad words right there. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So let's get this game started.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Ben.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. I am so glad to be here.
We're so glad to
We're
have
happy
you.
to have you here. Absolutely.
You're fun.
Yes.
I am fun. Sharita's even funner, and we've had some nights out. That's a story for another time, but...
Yeah. We need to make sure we don't tell everything.
No.
A few things should be kept, between us.
Yes.
Always.
Always. We think that's healthy. All right. So we are going to go through. Do you have a podcast like right off the bat? Like the one that just sticks out that you're like, you know what? I need to say something about this specific podcast.
There were two that I loved.
Yeah.
One that I had difference of opinion on, and one that I just resonated so much with. The Train Your Human, Ride a Cowboy. I think...
Hey, I'm going to take it. I love it.
Firstly, when you said your dad was a cowboy, I was like, ooh, I want to meet her daddy. But that episode, just where I was at personally at that time, just things I've been working on in therapy, and really working on healing my inner child, that specific episode was just mind-blowing to me about... I'm literally retraining my own cowboy within me of my inner child as a almost 30-year-old adult. And it's crazy because you have to unlearn and unpack, and it's I don't even know how to explain it, but that episode just spoke to me in so many different ways.
Well, I'm so glad. And I agree. I'm 50, and I'm still having to unlearn things that are not effective. And why did I go so long using these stupid thoughts that I know are dumb? Even while I'm having them, they're dumb, but I can't stop them.
Yeah.
We get conditioned from such a young age. And I think you even brought up the conditioning and maybe the fear episode.
Yes.
But whether it's society, whether it's family, whether it's your siblings, from such a young age, we're impacted to think that how we have to think is a certain way. And one thing I've been working on is breaking all of those barriers down and learning to think for myself.
Yes.
Because what works for you might not work for Sharita. What works for Sharita isn't going to work for me.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
all of us are right in our own ways. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I'm trying to, how I try to recondition is I try to pretend if I had to hire somebody to walk behind me all the time and say something, what would I hire them to say?
Ooh. Ooh.
And if they're saying bullshit, I think I would fire them. Okay? I'd be like, you are a piece of shit. How am I paying you money to walk behind me and say this effed up crap to me?
Yeah.
I want this person to be I'm paying them, okay? They're not just my friend. You're getting a paycheck from
Right.
me. Your job is to make me feel fabulous. That's what I'm paying you to do. So I like to think about that when I'm reconditioning. Would this be something I'd fire this damn person over?
Right.
Right? And if I'm
Right.
going to fire them, I need to fire that person in myself.
So you firing your thoughts.
My thoughts is the asshole in me. I have to fire
Yes.
that
That's
person.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that's what you guys talked a lot about in the Training Your Cowboy is taking those thoughts and telling them no, taking those thoughts and pushing them down.
Absolutely.
There's actually like scientific studies, your brain waves, when you learn a certain thing, your brain automatically goes down a certain path. And it takes physical and mental strength to veer that and change that path.
Just like a horse.
Yeah, just like a horse.
Just like a horse.
And just like conditioning, you have to train yourself and tell yourself, no, this is why am I thinking this way?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
what good is this doing me? And the sooner you realize that, and it's awkward at first because you're like, why are you questioning yourself? Because it's comfortable to sit in those feelings. It's comfortable to go down the path we've always gone.
Right.
So breaking out of that and thinking in a different way or going in a different direction is hard work to do, but necessary. And the sooner you start doing it, the easier it becomes, and then it's just second
The better
nature.
the ride.
The better the ride.
The better the ride than have the horse taking you down ridiculous paths that we don't want to go down.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
always say you got to check yourself. Like, you have to constantly check yourself. Like, you
Check your inner cowboy. Is your inner cowboy a jerk and needs to be fired, or is your inner cowboy somebody trustworthy that you say, no, you're the real dig? I mean, you're it. I trust you. I want you to train me and train my horse and train my journey, and I want you with me the whole time.
Absolutely.
You got to decide which cowboy to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you said check yourself, because that was one of the things that I took note in from that podcast of, to me, checking myself has turned into loving myself.
Ooh. Yes. Yes.
Because so often do we look so negatively inwards. Why did you do this? Why did you act this way? Would I ever look at you, Sharita, and talk shit or say, why did you do this, or why did you say that, or you're an awful person, or you're ugly, you're hideous, why did you wear that outfit? Would I ever say that to you as a friend?
No.
So why do we talk to ourselves that way?
Exactly.
Why do we talk to ourselves that way?
I want my best friend. With my job as a best friend is to always make you feel okay, no matter what decision. You know, we did a podcast on this. I think it was Man Talk, Woman Talk. I said, as a female, my go-to is, girl, I've been there. Girl, it's okay, honey. Man, you should knock the shit out of that person. I'm with you. That's a job as a best friend.
Yeah.
You don't want them to walk away after they've been in your presence and feel worse about themselves.
Yes.
So I need to be my own best
Yeah.
friend.
Wow.
100%.
That's it.
Yes.
100%.
There's a
So
song.
check ourselves, but check in on ourselves.
Oh, love that. Check
You know what?
in
Are you
on
going to sit in the host
ourselves.
seat
Yeah.
right now? 'Cause you are like,
He is. He's got it.
Yes.
Check in on
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Check in as your best friend.
Yeah.
Call. Make a little phone check-in. Are you okay? You know I love you.
Girl,
Everything's
you
gonna be
alright?
okay.
Girl, are you okay? You're
Yeah.
not okay. Girl, who fucked with you? Let's go get her.
Yeah.
But to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love
but
it.
to yourself.
I love it.
All right. So that was the one you loved. Then you had some different perspective on another
Yeah.
one. Tell us
Loved
your
it.
different perspective. Let's get in.
So, going into the casually dating, before we start this, I have to preface hearing how strong Carolina was at 19 years old with her thoughts
Oh, yeah,
of
right?
just where she was at with her mentality. I was blown away that at 19 years old she has some of that figured out.
Oh my gosh. Carolina's
And
so, yeah.
so props to her.
Carolina is amazing, and she is the most
really is.
mature, but can be immature, grounded. I tell her all the time she's my hero and who I want to grow up to be.
She's more mature than we are. We already see that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So there was our shout out to Carolina.
Shout out to that. And it was also coming along to a shout of, I think that speaks to you as a mother, of having a daughter that's so confident in women empowerment. I am fully supportive of that, and I definitely noticed that in the podcast.
Absolutely.
So
That's fabulous. Thank you.
I love that. So yeah.
So true.
Aw,
So
sweet.
true.
All right, we did that. We all feel good. We checked in with our
We
best.
ch-
I love you, best friends. Okay, give us your different perspective.
So my different perspective.
Oh man.
I loved the idea of where the conversation was going. And I think because of my own background, I got a little triggered at some parts.
yeah.
Relating, and how I took it, and maybe I was misinterpreting, was relating having sex to being cheap or being crackerjack, you know? And I think so much of that comes from society and this hetero norm out there. I think, you know, there's the being in the South. I am a fat, gay as hell man living in the South.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I grew up in a Baptist church for 18 years. And so this is, my perspective is coming from my religious trauma that I have to now finding myself as a human being and what that looks like. And the sex part, you're taught, don't have sex before marriage. Sex is between a man and a woman. So, like, everything about it, sex is just bad. You don't talk about it. You know, even if you are married, you don't ever talk about that.
Right.
In the queer space, sex is awesome. In the queer space, sex is a totally different ballgame. You know, sex is something to be embraced. And I think because for so long the queer community has been shunned because of their sexual choices, we now embrace it. And so I think part of hearing if you want to go out and have sex and that, you know, be your crackerjack phase, it made me think like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that thought of it, of making me feel cheap for exploring, for exploration. You know what I mean? But I loved what you guys were saying, and I myself have been thinking of how could we revamp this diamond and crackerjack idea that you brought up. And I think the diamond is our heart.
Yeah, that's good.
The diamond is your heart and knowing your self-worth, right? So just because a man is in my bed rotation does not mean he has an invitation to my diamond.
Did you say bed rotation?
My bed rotation.
Yes.
Just because a man is in my rotation does not give him an invitation to my diamond.
Yes.
Which I think fits in with what you guys were saying of
Yes.
not giving that part of yourself
Yes.
to someone who doesn't deserve it, which I think is the overall hierarchy of, you know, what we were discussing.
Yes.
But that's just kind of like how I view it, is protect your diamond.
Well, the diamond is what has to be earned.
Yeah.
The diamond has to be earned.
Yeah.
And that's saying the heart has to be earned.
You know what?
It has to be earned. I might give other things out, and you may not have to earn that, because sex could be fun.
Do you know-
It may be something I'm just exploring. It may be something we're both consenting that we want to do tonight, or during the day, or in the morning, or at lunch. But that may just be, not that it's cheap, but meaning no one has to overly pay. But when you're talking about my heart, and you're talking about my trust,
That costs money.
that costs.
You know what? So
You're gonna have to work.
you're absolutely, you just hit on something for me, because we're often, I grew up, and I'm not saying it was my mom or my dad's thing, because we didn't talk about sex like that. So I know it didn't come from them. But you hear a woman's treasure is between her legs. So when you were talking about, we were doing a podcast, you're talking about being earned. I think for me and possibly some other people, we're talking about sex because the actual, your sex organ, is what I would say. Because I've heard women say, well, you know, I'm going to make him wait 3 months. Before I give up anything, I'm making him wait 3 months. And he could treat you.
That's so stupid.
I've heard
That's
people
the
making
dumbest
people, I know,
dumbest thing.
but
I'm
I've-
so much more than my vagina.
I've heard people, women say, I'm going to make him wait, or I'm going to make her wait in my situation. And I'm like, well, shit, if we're connecting, I'll give you this right here, right now. But
Right.
the heart for me is different, just like you said.
I think we just pushed women liberation back 200 years, and the gay man is moving it 700 years forward, is what we just did. I mean, seriously. Women out there, if you're putting your vagina with a price tag on it, please, let's move the clock forward. Because I am so much more than my vagina. If I choose to do my vagina with you or with someone else on Monday evening, that's my prerogative. And I think that's what Ben is saying.
Yeah.
Correct.
But when it comes to my relationship, that's my diamond status. That means you're going to have to listen. That means I'm going to have to be trustworthy. That means that we're going to have to talk about our values, our direction and our future. And there is a lot you have to bring. I might not be in diamond mode myself.
Right. And speaking of that, there was a listener who wrote in named Heather, and she was talking about the Casually Dating podcast. And her thing was feeling after listening to the podcast, releasing the shame of wanting, it's okay to be a crackerjack and not, look for that diamond component. Love, but
heart. But I have to love
heart.
this person to have sex with them.
Correct. And it's okay to get back out there and start looking again after a relationship didn't work out. And I was so grateful that she wrote into us, because just like a lot of women, I think sometimes think that our value is between our legs by making someone wait. We also feel like if something doesn't work out with a person that we've been with, I should make myself wait because I'm supposed to. But shit, no, if you're ready to get back out there the next day,
Right.
it's okay. You may not be out there looking for that love you had with that person that I didn't work out with, but I can go out here and have fun and still
have enjoyment.
Absolutely.
Be
Right.
whole in
Absolutely.
myself,
Yeah.
intimate.
Yeah.
It is very different. I've heard gay men tell me many times over and over that the sex arena is different than the hetero.
1,000,000%.
And you know what I want to say to that? You're not. You know why? It's just men. Y'all are just men.
But-
all men, straight men would do this too, you understand?
But they're not open about it.
I think they would be if they had other men to talk to.
The queer community is very open and embracing of all sexual facades, and I feel like a lot of
guess you're
times in the
right.
hetero community, it's kept in house.
You mean
or in a
even
close set of
straight
friends.
men hide
In the
they
closet?
hide it?
Yes,
Why
they're
do you
everywhere.
Think they hide it?
Let me tell you,
I don't mean hide being gay. Why do you think straight men hide that? Well, see, I feel like straight men are very open about having a lot of sex.
so
Like
me,
straight single men. Straight single men,
Brag
I think,
about taking the girl home at the bar, but they're not talking about the whips and the chains or the kinky things you could get into or the plethora of things that's not just penetration.
Oh, I see. So
There is so much more
they
to
feel
sex.
that they would be shamed as having a fetish, or
Yes.
I'm
Correct.
different. I've come a little bit too out of the box.
Yes.
What would the other men think? What would the women think?
Yeah.
I can do that, but that needs to be kept quiet
Correct.
in this room and only this room.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think, as Ben said, in the queer community, that's something that's openly talked about, even celebrated
Yeah.
and embraced, 100%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see both points. I don't want to openly discuss my private sexual lifestyle with my husband. I mean, I'm just not because I'm against anything or for anything, but it's private.
Right. Think of it this way, though. You have a yoga studio here where
Yeah.
you gather with people who like to do yoga.
Yes.
So why can't a group of people who like to have BDSM also group and be open about it? Like, why does it have to be kept quiet, It's a group of people with similar interests
I don't think
kind
it
of
should
exploring.
be kept quiet. I guess. Wow, these are deep, penetrating questions.
I see what you did there.
I'm gonna have to go deep into this thought.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't think it has to be quiet. The only thing that would gut instinct that kicks in, and again, you're probably like, oh, there's that Southern straight girl. Yoga very rarely harms anyone. or puts anyone's emotional situation as a target where feelings are not going to get involved. People's aren't going to get attached. They're not going to feel their self-esteem. They were turned down. They felt lower. They were trying to hit on somebody. Somebody didn't like them. When we talk about sex, there's a lot of emotions that
Right.
get tied with sex. We can pretend sex is just sex. And I used to tell my daughters this and my sons. You can pretend all you want. And where it came up is when they asked me what age should they be to lose their virginity when they were young. And I told my children, there is no right or wrong age. I can't tell you the age to lose your virginity. I can't tell you if it's 15, if it's 25. I can't give you an age. What I can tell you is that the only thing I want you to be ready for is that sex is going to come with emotions. And are you ready for the emotions that will come with it? You may experience some rejection. You may experience that you have feelings when they don't. You may find they have feelings for you and you don't. You may find that you thought it was just something to have fun, but now they're gossiping about you. You may find there's so much that can come from that. And the only thing I need you to be ready for is, do you have the maturity? And when you have got the maturity, then you're ready to enter the world of sex. So even though sex is a beautiful thing and it shouldn't be judged, and who cares how we like it, who we like it with, whether it's what we use, what we don't use, I think we're all lying to ourselves a little bit that emotions accidentally come into the sex world.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
100%.
Whether you're straight, gay, bi, it's gonna happen.
I agree.
And that's why I think if we were to be in our crackerjack phase, every sexual encounter is an experience. Every sexual encounter is an exploration of, this is what happened, this is how I felt after. And it's a way to experience those emotions, to know what you want, what you don't want. And that reminds me of I loved the red flag conversation at the end of that podcast.
Yeah.
The red flags, and red flags are everywhere in the queer community, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But one, you guys were asking at the podcast for relationship advice as we're coming back into the pond. And one thing that I am accepting myself and wanting to learn is, see what you don't see and believe it's true. Meaning, if you are putting yourself out there to somebody and you are trying to be a little vulnerable and it's not received well, or if you've been talking to somebody for a couple weeks and you're like, hey, let's get together and get coffee, let's meet, let's do this. And if their response is something like, oh yeah, I would love to get together sometime, that's the first time you're experiencing that. See that as truth and believe it. If they wanted to be with you, it would have been, hey, yeah, let's get coffee tomorrow. Hey, yeah, let's go on a walk.
Right.
100%.
They're not going to change. And so when you see it that first time, believe that to be the truth about that person.
That's the Maya Angelou.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
People tell you who they are.
Yeah.
Believe
it.
them. And I am so happy you said that, Ben. When my husband and I started dating, we were 45 minutes, almost an hour apart from each other. And he had 3 children, and I had a child. And we both had full-time jobs. But if I called him and said at 4:15 and he's at work, hey, you want to meet for a beer? He's like, I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
And he's 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's how you know that
Yeah.
you make room. And when people say, well, she's not or he's not contacting me because he's this, he's that, he's busy, he's got this, his dog died, his neighbor's dog died, Lucella down the street of his aunt, he's planning their funeral. No.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
People will tell you if they're ready to put you in and be in a diamond phase.
Correct.
And
Yes.
if they don't, accept that and you need to move on.
Right.
You need to hear that day one.
Absolutely.
Day one.
Absolutely.
And another point on the part of that learning phase, I have had some sort of rejection and then put myself out there more in a sexual way to be like, well, if I can't get the emotional, I know I can get the sexual.
Oh, who
and so
hasn't done that?
you sell
Bad,
yourself
bad,
short.
bad.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think
Absolutely.
that's part of that, the cheapness of it. I don't like the word cheap, but it's knowing our own self-worth and not giving it to ourselves. Putting ourselves out there sexually because at least we can get that if they're not going to emotionally.
Sure, they're going to tell us how much they like us. Yes, you're amazing in this simple way. And then we use that as validation of, I must be amazing, they like me. But maybe it's, I like this act. It could be you, or it could be Bobby, or it could be Jane, or it could be, and hearing that it's really, they may just liking the act. They haven't gotten to know you. How could they even say they know you?
They can't.
Yeah.
They like the act, not you.
They can't. Absolutely.
That's what we were saying. We have to be very careful how we use sex. Sex can be misused, not by others, but also by ourselves.
Yes. You
We
lower
can
your
mis-
self-worth.
Absolutely.
We do, accidentally. And I think that goes back to, we have to make sure that we're in control of our decisions.
Right.
Correct.
Hence, like I said, when you go out, decide if you're going to have a Cracker Jack experience, or decide not anymore. Those didn't feel good. I'm going to put a pause on that, not because I'm shaming myself, not because I did something bad or I'm wrong, but I'm needing to get some validation in a different way.
Absolutely.
And I'm going
sure.
to choose a different path, maybe for a few months.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just have to ask ourselves those. All right, so we've talked a lot about sex because sex is fun. I had somebody that talked to me about 'Tis the Season.
Okay.
And one of the things she said to me about that was she was a teacher and she wanted to quit. I can't blame her after COVID. But she said that she was scared to quit because she thought she needed to have another job lined up. And once she heard 'Tis the Season, it changed everything because she realized, no, I need a pocket of space
Absolutely.
to sit in so I know where to choose next. So I was so glad
Very true.
that somebody touched us on that. And I think we wanted to also say something about man talk, woman talk.
Yes, I actually had a friend write in about man talk, woman talk, and we had a great conversation about it. Friend named Michael, and one of the things that he said was, when you said that to get what you want, sometimes you tell a man or you tell your husband, baby, you have a big dick and I want that. Can you give me that purse over there? Or you were making fun, but that was pretty much close
Yeah,
to the
okay.
gist of it. And his thing was that for some men, for him, and for probably other men, the equivalency of saying, baby, you have a big dick, or stroking their ego, is saying, hey, baby, you did this well. So for him, and he admitted, which I thought was very interesting too, and very honest, that, he's maybe looking at it from a different perspective, just based on his experiences, just based on his environment in life. But I thought having that different perspective was interesting, because that's one of the things I know Allison and I look forward to, is getting other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
But I would like, Allison, for you to speak to that, because I talked to you a lot more. I knew where the conversation was coming from. I knew it was told in a very visual way so that we could understand what you were meaning. But
Yeah, I don't really tell my husband that a lot. I probably should, to be honest. Now that you're mentioning it, I might need to make it part of my daily conversation. And I probably am not taking my own advice, so that he has his ego stroked. Oh my God, I'm so good today. I'm on. I think one of the things we need to point out about man talk, woman talk is that man talk, woman talk is not necessarily framed in your anatomical parts.
Correct.
That is our male side or our feminine side, and each one of us have part of our male side and feminine side. Some of us have more male side communication style and might be in a feminine body.
Correct.
I laugh and tell all the time, Shrita, you talk man talk.
Yes.
Yes, but your anatomical might be female.
It is.
I happen to have female anatomical, and I talk female.
Right.
But there's a lot. I have really good friends that they are in a heterosexual relationship, and the man is actually the more sensitive, talks all the time, and she's the one that's more quiet and less dramatic.
Right.
So I think when we listen to that, we need to come out of our box and hear what part applies to us, and not get caught up that this is how women talk or how men talk. It's okay that we carry these traits.
Yeah, and the way I perceive it as well as that, because you, like I said, you and I talk a lot, and energy is really big between us and what we talk about, and it's identifying with that masculine and feminine energy, not, as Allison was said, necessarily the physical aspects of the body, but and you may not identify with that particular energy all the time.
Well, here's the thing. We're all both male and female. This is my proof.
Absolutely.
Okay? Right now, pluck out of you what is your mother and pluck out of you what's your father.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. You're a blend of male and female.
Yeah.
You are both equally. That means your energy is both male and female. Some of these may be governing stronger than others. We need to get caught. We need to come out of framing that. Again, my gosh, we're going 200, 300 years backwards, people. Can we not go 200, 300 years forward?
Absolutely.
And, maybe saying you have a big dick is, I wouldn't appreciate my husband looking at me and saying you have a big vagina. But I would like him to say something like, you are beautiful, or you mean so much to me. You are a fabulous mother. That is not all women would like that, but because I relate to the feminine terms, those would appease me. Now, some women would go, ugh, gross, don't say that to me. You have to learn the language of your partner.
Oh, for sure. And each partner is different.
Yes.
No hetero relationship, no gay relationship, no lesbian relationship, no trans relationship. None of it is going to be the same.
No.
You have to find, like you said, you have to find what works for you and your partner.
Correct. And one of us, I'm sorry, in any combination, even if there's three of us, one of us is going to be more sparkling and dramatic.
And bedazzled, as
And
you put it.
bedazzled.
Yes, and
I'm okay
Fabulous.
that I am. I have a sneaking suspicion I know which ones me and Ben are.
Where's my phone? I texted her immediately after I listened to that episode in all caps saying, I'm 100% woman talk. That's just, I was relating to your side of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying is not needed. Neither is lip gloss or hair dye. But damn it, it's so much more fun.
Right.
So we're going to put all that shit in the conversation, Sharita.
And confuse the shit out of people like me, but that's okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I think we need to know our partners and accept if you have one that's a little more dramatic, be okay with it. We make things more fun.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. I think we've recapped. Now you have fear of meeting Ben or I. So we've recapped fear. And we should be nice and be kind to many, but not all.
Absolutely.
Not assholes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. We can recap that. We all know assholes. We don't need to be nice to them because Ben's already pointed out. If they show us that they're an asshole in the beginning, let's believe that.
Yep.
Yes.
And move on. We didn't talk about gel. And we probably shouldn't tonight because I'm scared what we might go with. It might get too deep.
Oh my.
I'm on fire
You're
today.
still on fire.
I know. I cracked myself up. All right. Well, Ben, this was so much fun. Will you come back?
I
Please
will
come
love
back.
to come back.
Yes.
You can have me anytime,
All right.
in any position.
Oh, we are just taking this X-rated, and we don't mean to.
No.
This should just be.
Oh, this is just G-rated for me.
Oh, God. I'm
It is.
scared.
It is.
In a good way.
It's
In
so
a good
is.
G for good.
G for good. Well, Ben, this was a delight.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we
Thank
want
you
you
so
back
much.
more and more.
We do.
All right. Then I guess, Sharita, what do we say?
With that, we say amen
Amen.
and amen.
We'll see you on the other side.
Have a good one.